Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us across the globe. Also depending on what time you get to watch this video. Guys, thank you so much. Notification gang, I see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Kindly comment below. Let me know where you're watching us from and what you love particularly about the show. Also new subscribers, we are almost at 15k. Can we get to 50k already? Let's get to 70k. Let's get to 100, a million even. I mean, why not? Please, if you haven't subscribed, click, I almost said subscribed like that Tanzanian girl, but please do subscribe down below. Now today on the set I have my niece. Her name is Yvette Nyawire. So Yvette, kindly say hello.
Hi guys, my name is Yvette Nyawire. Happy to be here.
Yes, and of course we have a life coach, dating coach, intimacy coach, and she's such a bubbly human being. Let's welcome Shaz Bank in the building.
Thank you guys. I'm so excited to be here.
And I'm so excited that you're here, and I can't wait to have this very powerful conversation. Now, why we're having this conversation is because there's a video that was doing rounds on social media about a 15-year-old student that committed suicide because of bullying. She was bullied on cyber bullied first. She blocked the person that was bullying her, and then when it got to physical assault, when the fellow student came to her and slapped her, the video went viral and she was really embarrassed. She went home to her bedroom, pulled out some subscription drugs, and of course overdosed. She passed on before she got to the hospital. So why are we having this conversation? Because we have to. So why we have Yvette is because she was bullied in primary school, and I want her to tell us her story.
Ilianza class 6. That was the first time that it happened. There was this girl, we were in the same school but different classes. She came to my cupid at night and they started talking about me, and they said that I was ugly, just like my whole family. And for a while I was devastated. Yeah.
And you've been raised by a single mom. First of all, by the way, congratulations, you had a cool B+. That's no small feat.
See jokes.
Yeah. What was your favorite subject?
Chem.
Yeah. So you want to pursue anything concerning chemistry?
But of course, chemical engineering.
Sorry, engineer. Let us start manifesting engineer. But your mom and I, of course, even very good friends, and I've seen you grow like since you were a child, and you guys have a very strong bond. First, let's talk about your relationship with your mom.
My mom, as you've heard, she's a single mom, yeah?
Yes.
And we're close because tangu tu kitambo, it's just because of the little things, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I used to tell her everything, na pia yeye, bede kuna vitu moba ananiambianga. Apart from, kuna zenye tu definitely.
Yeah,
so she's my friend, my best friend, my sister, my mom, yeah.
So when you were first bullied, did you tell your mom?
Yes. I actually called her the next day. Then she started, upon wakaanza motivational quotes.
And now what's up?
Why? Daily, refu, read more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you understand why she had to do that?
Yes.
Yeah. And then now moving on to high school. I remember before the term ended, I think it was just slightly in the beginning of the term, January,
yeah,
where we had to take you back to school because you were bullied. And previously, you had been bullied and told that you were a lesbian.
Yes.
Talk to us about that experience.
Actually, I just realized that happened twice.
Okay.
During KCSE and during my first time in Form 4.
Oh, wow. Even during KCSE?
Yes.
Just the other day?
Yeah.
What happened?
Actually, we had just done the English paper, the first day.
Yeah.
Hiyo usiku, me and my friend, we like to study outside the class. So we just got out and tukitoka macho anakuja ananiambia, Yvette, kuja hapa. So there's a list that has come from the principal's office of the girls that are lesbians in the school and you're distracting the KCSE. And I was like, bro, how? So by then that night I cried and my friend was just there and she's like, imagine, don't cry, it's not true, these people just want to bag you right now. I was like, Aki, why me, you know?
Yeah.
So after that, until you know me, I'm a very vocal person.
You're
Very vocal.
Yeah.
So I went to class. Then I told them that whoever is doing this, what's wrong with you? Because it was definitely a student that took those names to the teacher, you know.
Yeah.
And I asked them, why are you disturbing people?
Yeah.
And I said that even if I'm a lesbian, that does not concern you.
Yeah.
If I am gay, it's not your problem.
Yeah. It's yours.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You do you and let me do me. Lens manner. And then, so it turns out the same person that had reported me went back to the teacher and said that I was giving death threats to people.
Oh my God.
It was just hectic. Then the teacher calls me and he's like, so Nyawire, unadhani shule ni ya mamako? Kumwambia no. Niambia, you think you're the most special creature to walk this earth? I was like, no.
That's your teacher now.
Yes. And I'm like, no. And then he tells me, unajua this time hatuta kuitia mamako ama ni sistako. Your family is very chaotic. Watakuja tu hapa ku bring chaos to the school. And I was like, how?
Yeah.
Then anasema, this time we're taking you to the police station because he said that I'm a spoiled brat because my mom is always on my side, you know.
Yeah.
Every time they would call her and she would always support me. Hata kama nimekosa, atani support, tuende tupigane baadaye.
Yes.
But because you know, every time that the teachers gang up against you and your mom is also there,
joins, yeah.
you feel like, bana. Like, you know, in a school, for a discipline case, they would have a panel of 7 teachers.
Wow.
So imagine watu 7 wanataka tu uletewe shida and then your mom joins wako 8 against 1.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Devastating.
Yes.
But the first time you were accused of being a lesbian, how was that like?
The fact that they didn't tell
face.
me
Yeah.
hurts the most because if you're suspecting me, just tell me directly.
Yeah.
Don't tell my mom. Like, tell her when I'm there, you know. They just told me to get out and they're like, we think she's gay.
But did you question your sexuality at this point?
Definitely. I mean, they did that at March.
Yeah.
So March, April, May, I was in shock. I was thinking, am I straight? Am I gay? I watch movies and then I look at the guys and I'm like, definitely straight. There's no way I'm gay.
Yeah, absolutely. Shaz, that's why I just have to let you chime in because clearly it's not bullying and we take our kids to school hoping they're getting the best and that you have substitute teachers that are not the substitute parents to our kids, not knowing that your child could potentially be abused and bullied, even in school, where in the confines of school, where you thought they would get their best, mental stability. Is it an ego battle between the teachers and the students as well?
I feel it's parents also not raising children from a young age to teach children that you always will respect your elders, you always respect a teacher, but there has to be a certain level of respect that comes back to you, which means your teachers have to be polite, your teacher shouldn't name call you, your teacher shouldn't be putting you down. If you're not doing well in a subject, the teacher has no right to bully you around it or call you names. Because that could be a dream subject that you could end up being such a great talent in, and you just have a different way of learning, and the teacher hasn't taken the time to understand that about you, and now they've somehow probably killed a dream for somebody because of how they'll bully the child. And I love that her mother stood by her, because I experienced that. I had a very strong mom that didn't allow teachers to bully me, and I've done it for my son who's almost 17 as well. And I think it's so important when you raise children and you teach children about bullying and you teach children who bullies are. in school, because very often, you have the bully that comes at a child, but this is the bully that is being bullied at home.
Yeah.
This is the child that's being put down by the parents. This is the child that's not being seen at home. And so what they do is they come to school, which they consider their environment, and in order to have power and gain dominance and belong, they will now form a tribe, and this tribe will now go and bully other students. And they will pick on students that always shine, that are excelling at something, that are creative, that are great. You can bully somebody in any form or shape, for race, for gender, for anything. But it's always about the bully feeling, I have power in this area. And you know what? You also sometimes have these bullies in the best books with the teachers.
Yes.
So the teachers will support the bully.
Mm-hmm.
And you have normally the quiet child, the child who, just has a dream and is in school and wants to do their best. And they're now being bullied, but they can't go back home and tell the parents at home this is what's happening. And I feel, for me, that is so sad, because you got introverts and you have extroverts. And these quiet children that are bullied come back home sometimes into an environment that's also toxic at home.
Yes.
So here I am in school and I'm being bullied. Here I am at home and I'm not seen.
Yeah.
So somehow my worlds make sense. It kind of makes sense that I am getting bullied.
Oh, wow.
Because I don't have the parent telling me, you are worthy, you are enough, you are perfect. Do not allow anyone to ever bully you. I don't have the parent telling me, your teachers cannot treat you this way. And this is why I encourage parents that when your child talks to you, or you ask your child about how is school, what's going on in your friends' lives, parents need to take the time to understand when a child says something's going wrong with the teacher, listen to your child. Because a lot of parents feel that if my child is a bit naughty, I can understand why the teacher will talk this way to my child or put my child down. You are never allowed to put a child down at any age. Because no matter whether you're 18 or you're 17 or you're 16, you're still finding your identity in your youth. Mm-hmm. And now you have teachers and people bullying you, telling you who you possibly are or who you possibly are not. Mm-hmm. And your support system is not telling you that's not true.
True. Yeah.
So parents have to be so aware. And something I love to tell parents to do is dinner time should be dedicated as a gift to your children. That is pretty much handing the mic over to your child and saying, tell me about school, what's going on. But then I tell parents, put your children to bed. It does not matter whether they are now, 13 or 18. Go into your children's room, because that's their sanctuary, that's their environment, that's where they feel safe.
Yeah.
Get into bed with your child and now talk to your child. So anything else happened today, and I promise you, if you thought you heard a lot at dinner time, you will hear so much more when you take the effort to have a relationship with your children.
Yeah.
Because you're teaching your children that we have your back. So go out into the world. And if anyone comes to tell you or take your shine away, we're right here to help you come back and stand back up.
Yeah.
And so I feel, there's cyberbullying, you've got sexual bullying, you've got normal verbal bullying, you've got emotional, physical bullying.
Yes.
And it happens to anybody, almost anyone, but you want to look at also the bullies. You want to be able to recognize sometimes, it's hard, like the video that we watched of this beautiful 15-year-old girl who went home and didn't feel strong enough, possibly to, tell her parents that this is what I'm going through. And I need your help, because parents are sometimes not aware of the lengths of bullying. You're now in a cyber world where, especially for girls, your whole validation comes from
social
how you
media.
Don't look like somebody you're looking up to.
That's true.
And you need parents to be able to be careful of what are you looking at, who are you comparing yourself to. You need parents to take young girls and put them in front of a mirror and say, this is your only competition for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And anything else that's being said to you, learn from now that is noise.
Yeah.
It will always be there. You will always have social noise. But we don't have parents teaching children, look within, find strength within. You are enough from within. When somebody bullies you, crack a joke back, walk away, go tell a teacher, come and tell me. Put a stop to the bullying immediately. Let's go talk to the parents of the child being bullied, because that child is actually asking for help.
Yeah.
That child is saying, here I am, I formed this tribe and I'm looking for power and I'll tease and bully whoever I can. But I'm also the child that's rejected at home.
Yeah.
I'm also the child that's not seen at home. I'm the child that's smacked at home. I'm the child coming from an abusive family.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to come to school, and before people flaw me, I will flaw anyone else around me.
Yeah. But let me ask for parents that cannot make time for dinner time, whether because they're working or the traffic on Mombasa Road that they couldn't make to get home in time for dinner because, you know, kids have to sleep early because of school. So what can they do to make sure they still create time for dinner?
Use your weekends. If dinner is, you know, not going to be an option, it's not something you can do, then I say make use of the phone. Call your children as much as you can, talk to them. But I just feel there has to be a point during your week, more than one,
at least once or twice,
that is fully dedicated to knowing your child. How are you? What do you feel? What's going on in your world? I mean, what happens? I didn't know the Snapchat dating world until I sat with my son and understood.
Yeah.
You know, people don't WhatsApp these days. You know, you Snapchat, and when you don't get a snap back, your whole world's broken. And you need to sit there and tell your child, you know, not that that's wrong, but that, you know, you're worth so much more and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you need parents who are going to have children to invest in time. You're working hard, which is beautiful, and you're doing the best you can as a parent. But today's generation's moving too fast.
Too fast.
They're already looking at things, they're already thinking things that normally we would have at 18, and they're doing it at 12.
Yeah, like the world is rapidly changing, but also let's just talk about the parents that, you know, have sired the bullies. You know, mostly when it doesn't concern you, you're like, oh, you're not being bullied, or you're the one bullying, and it's okay. They sit down with it and they're like, it's okay, it's not my child being bullied. A parent has been told once or twice that your son is bullying so and so, but just because it's not the other way around, they sit with it. Okay, what can you tell them?
I would tell parents like that to take a moment and first look, am I causing or enabling the behavior? Why is my child bullying? What's the lack, or where's the lack of emotion coming from my child that they feel the need to have to be like this in life? Because you have so many options as children to be, and I feel the only option for children that should be is to shine in whatever form or shape that's possible. But why are you not? Why do you feel the need to behave this way? What is it that you see in the other child that you might perceive is lacking within you? So parents need to go back and say, wait a minute, what am I causing in my child? Is there a situation at home I'm not aware of? Are my children fighting? Is my other child bullying the other child? And teaching this child that's okay. Because it comes down to, it's happening in your environment.
Yeah.
It just means that as a parent, somehow you've turned a bit of a blind eye and you've allowed your child to be able to go down a path that they're crying for help on.
Yeah.
So it's for parents to be able to be aware and sit down and talk to the child. It just comes down to communicating, full presence. Don't tell the child what they're saying is wrong. Listen to them. Create a safe environment that no matter what I said to my parents, they didn't judge me on. They listened to me and they guided me on how to be able to be a better person.
Yeah, and clearly we cannot create a world for our own kids because, you know, we raise our kids differently. How I raise mine is different from how you raise yours. And how do you teach your child, this is how you recognize a bully and this is what you tell them? Because you see sometimes what they could recognize it's a bully, but they'll say ndakupiga, and you see that's agitating to the bully. So what are the right words that if a child or a person is being bullied, what can they say to the bully to make sure they sort of, you know, create a soft landing?
Well, something I teach a lot of the kids and a lot of the youth sometimes is if you've got your own group of friends, be with your own group of friends. And when a bully talks to you sometimes, you know, a lot of that group will laugh and walk away and just sort of ignore the bully. Because now what you're telling the bully is, I won't get into conversation with you. I'm not feeding the monster within you. So I'm not going to tolerate that. I'm just going to go ahead and move with my day and do my thing.
Yeah.
Because whatever is going on in your world is big for you. I'm not going to make it big for me in my world.
Oh, wow.
So it's teaching children to just move past it very confidently. but it's also being able to go to a teacher and say, this is what's going on and this is what's happening with me. And I possibly have the confidence to go ahead with not being bullied, but that means somebody else is probably getting bullied twice as worse today because I've just dented the ego of the bully. So you've got to teach children, walk away, talk to a parent, stay with your friends, crack a joke back. Teach the child who's being bullied, if they can, to look at the bully and say, I don't believe what you're saying.
Yeah.
Or, so what? Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, I have better things to do with my day. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you're teaching your children to find their voice within them and that's okay. It's a safe environment. It's not, I'm going to smack you back if you smack me.
Yeah.
It's like, you hit me, well, I'm going to make sure somebody around me just recorded that. But then my parents and my teachers are fully aware that this is going on in school.
But what happens when, especially in her case, the bully is now your teacher?
Well, this is the thing I say. I love that her mom backs her up.
Yeah.
But I feel if the bully is your teacher and your parents are not listening to you, then you've got to get some relative in your family that is going to listen to you.
Okay.
Or an older brother or an older sister. Because I feel to be able to tell a teacher, you can't talk to me like that, is okay in today's world. It has to be. I was giving you a small story. I raised my son. He had a bit of an experience like that with one or two teachers. And I just went to the school and I pulled out his school book. And at the back of it was, we respect each other, we build children's self-esteem. And so I turned the book over and I said, this isn't happening. And I want to be very clear that if anyone's going to bring my son's self-confidence down or dim his shine, I'm going to encourage him to show more of it and not allow anyone to do that. So if a teacher is going to be rude to him, I give my son permission to not be rude, but to have a voice and speak and say, you cannot talk to me like that. And I feel parents need to teach their children, you're not being rude to talk to a teacher that way. There's nothing wrong with that. And I witnessed it during, it was just one of these days I was a bit free and I took my laptop into my son's room and I decided to sit on his bed. And he was struggling with a certain subject. And the teacher had sort of, because it's homeschooling, was like, figure out the subject, read the subject, and then we'll talk about it in class. So he wasn't being taught it. So I told him, tell her at the end of the class, miss, I want to talk to you, but you need to teach the topic in class so we can ask you the questions we need to.
Yeah.
And I just so happened to be sitting there and she couldn't see me. And at the end of the lesson, he was like, miss, I just want to talk to you. And she was like, what is it again, Gibran?
Oh, wow.
And so I sat up from the bed and I was like, what just happened? Because, no matter what school you're in and no matter how much school fees you pay, that shouldn't happen.
Just listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he says, miss, I want to talk to you about class. And so she started to laugh at him. And she started to take, a joke at him, like, oh my God, you're the only student that seems to have... And so I pulled out a phone and I recorded it from the other side of the room. And as she kept poking at him, I'd like to think my son's really confident. But I watched him. And I watched him in the light of another teacher and a grown-up. And he slowly came back.
Yeah.
And she completely took his power away. And so I came in and I stood above him in the screen. And I was like, hi, miss. How are you?
Yeah.
And she swallowed so hard. And I said, miss, I just have that whole conversation on video. Now, I don't appreciate you bullying my son because no one's around to see it.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to show this to the headmaster. But I'm going to ask every student in this class how you teach them, how you treat them. And unless your attitude doesn't change and you don't lift the moral of these children, I'm then going to go to the headmaster.
Yes.
And she did a 360-degree change.
Yeah.
But that's because of parents.
And that's because you were there to catch that.
Right. And a lot of the times, when my friends' sons are at home, they say, because of the nature of who we are, when we tell our parents this is happening, they turn around and say, well, she must have had a long day. She must be exhausted. You should understand she has 25, 50 other students to teach. No.
That's her job.
No. She should be in school, fully alert, ready to just serve and be there for you as a parent. Because that's what we're trusting them to do. So parent bullying, teacher bullying. If a parent is bullying a child, your teacher's going to bully the child and that child's going to get bullied.
Yeah.
So it's also for parents to stop noticing what's wrong in children and how they tell the child. You know, a lot of parents would be like, you're stupid, you're dumb, you don't listen, you should grow up, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
You don't understand what you're doing to a child when you say that. You have a child who probably look tough when you say that, but inside they're thinking, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
And then when I get bullied or my teacher tells me something's wrong with me, right, that makes sense, because my parents think that too.
Yeah, because I grew up in the village, and I remember my uncle's wife, let me just say it's an auntie, but I remember just her saying how, you're so lazy, and she could say so many things that I was okay with back in the day, but thinking about it right now, that was bullying.
Yes.
So there's so many words that actually even parents, even guardians or relatives could say to diminish one's, light and self-esteem. When that happened, the first time you were told that, okay, you're gay, and this other child, fellow pupil, student is coming to you and saying all these things, and you went home. Was there a time you felt like really crushed, as much as you had your support system?
Even with your support system, we are all human beings and we have feelings.
Yeah.
So it really hurt. As much as my mom would try and make me be okay,
yeah,
it still hurt inside, And sometimes I was like, I'm gonna give up. Niachane tu nayo. There's a time I even wanted to quit school. I went and told mom, mimi kama unitoi shule, naacha shule kabisa. Then she's like, no, imagine you can't give up now. You can't show them that they won,
Yeah.
You have to be strong. You're a queen and you got this, okay? And I'm like, mom, hapana. Nimechoka, mimi sirudi huko. There's a time we actually fought. It was during opening week.
Mm-hmm.
I had to stay home for a whole week because I didn't want to go to school. I was like, no, mom, no, I don't. And she's like, no, you have to go. Because it's not only the gay thing, until there was a time I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis.
Yes.
And I was getting sick in school. And
you couldn't walk properly.
Yeah, and the teachers would say that I was faking.
Wow.
And then when we brought the medical report, the teacher just looked at my mom and she's like, Yvette is always so jovial. We didn't think it was true. These things happen.
Yeah.
And you're like, just because I'm jovial, when you're sick, you don't have to act sickly,
Yeah.
I always have to be strong when I'm sick because I feel like mom sick ugonjwa yangu affect sana because anashindanga nilia na sipendi kumwona nilia, so I have to laugh. Even in school, my classmates used to ask me, Aki Vet, wewe ni mgonjwa lakini unacheka na sisi.
Yeah.
Even during we used to have a system called MBR. We don't walk in school, we run.
Yeah.
So like I used to run with everyone else. Then people are like, Aki si unamwona mguu. I'm like, itaisha tu,
Yeah. Shazmin, the aspect of suppressing your feelings and having to behave a certain way, you have to behave strong even though you're not strong inside. How does that affect you as a person? Because you see, she had to pretend sometimes, even when it crushed her.
It's growing up in a world of masks. It's growing up in a world where you wear a mask to show the world this is who I am. And as you keep growing up, you just keep putting a layer and a layer and a layer on top for different situations. Why? Because at home and when we're young, we're not taught you is enough. And who you will be enough.
Yeah.
We're taught that, you have to be polite, you have to be... So even though we're taught great values and characteristics, a lot of the time our parents sort of come and, snap on an identity on you and sort of tell you this is who you should be. And it doesn't fit with who you are. And so inside you're battling, I'm a different person, I have a different personality, yet I seem to make my parents proud when I do X, Y, Z, or I show up as somebody for them. So that's who I'll keep being in life.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow up as the people pleaser and the clown and the quiet one and the clever one. And, it's how you were enabled as a child. You made the whole family laugh, you're the funny one. And now that's your label. And then later on in life, you realize funny one label isn't working for this situation, I might have to be, a bit of a bully and the serious one.
Yes.
And you take on a new mask and a new label. And so this is what I say is when you suppress emotion, all of us have gone through that. All of us have gone through keeping emotion in. And that's why I'm like such a big advocate. I tell parents, give your children the greatest gift you ever will. First, freedom to be who they need to be, not slapped on with your identity, but a journal. Give children a journal where they can write, they can draw, they can paint, they can express their deepest emotion. So it's no longer suppressed in the physiology. You're sort of taking out your thought. And it's a little place where it's respected. No one will ever go there and read it. And the other thing I tell parents, teach your children from a young age so they don't suppress or feel like if an incident happened during the day that was negative, that was my whole world, that was my whole day, is gratitude jar. And I tell parents, gift your children a gratitude jar and little colorful paper. And tell your children, write down the date, and for 365 days, you will write 3 things you were so grateful about during the day. Even if it was your bully, because somehow you're the child that gets to pray for that little bully. So write it down, put it in a little gratitude paper and put it into your gratitude jar. And you're teaching and enabling your children how to grow up in a world that has shifted and changed. You're teaching your children, don't suppress, speak. If you feel it's hard to speak, write a note. If you feel it's hard to write, then sing it. Then use drama. Use something that you're great at, but take out the emotion. Because I love to tell parents, you will never express, or artists or creatives, somehow their juice comes from a little sadness. Their juice comes from a bit of pain. You create the best in that moment. So use pain. Teach children, don't run from pain. If you're feeling pain, use it to be creative in the moment. What could the pain mean for you? What does it bring out in you? How do you grow having this pain?
Yes.
We often teach children, run away from pain. Don't inflict it, don't feel it.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. And this has been so powerful. Nyawere, from a teenage point of view, what would you tell parents right now, and even kids that are going to school and are bullying others or are getting bullied? What should you tell them before we end the show?
For the parents, you just need to be there for your kid. I realized that my mom being involved in my life has really helped me a lot, because she told me that if I ever need to deal with my feelings, I should find an artistic way of bringing them out. And since Miss artist.
And she is such an artist. Actually, I'm wearing earrings by Adede. Guys, if you've seen me on Instagram, I've been tagging Adede. She's a jeweler. This woman's very talented and clearly explains why she had to teach you those values.
So what I do, I knit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually knit. Has another direction, but in a side whenever I feel mad, I just go to my room, I bring out my Uzi, my crochet, I just knit. And she also made me, she gave me a brand,
Yeah.
She helped me establish a company.
Yeah.
So I am a young CEO, Nyawere Sports Gear.
Oh,
Yay! Gave me on Instagram, Nyawere Yvette Mchukwu Yaki.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for her. And actually, she supports me in everything,
Yeah.
I told her that I wanted to become TikTok famous.
She bought you a phone?
She bought me a phone and a ring light.
Wow.
And she was like, you want to become chit chat famous? She doesn't say TikTok.
Yeah.
And she's like, go for it. Whatever you want, baby,
Yeah.
And that makes me feel nice.
Yeah.
And, it makes me feel loved, As much as in some environments people might hate you,
Yeah.
when you get back home to that love and you're like, oh my God.
Solves everything.
Yeah. And another thing, I also like cooking.
Yeah, you do.
Even though I don't cook that well, but I like cooking.
Yeah.
And she's helped me with that also. She buys me dishes and weird things to cook. Kama juzi alinibaia octopus nipike.
Ukaingia Google.
Bas.
Yeah.
And for the kids, manze, you also need to be strong yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Pia wewe ujipe nguvu. Bully akikwambia unakwanga mjinga, mwambie ni sawa, mimi ni mjinga, ina shida, lakini wewe mbona hujui kuswim, wewe mbona hujui kuimba? Unajua kusoma lakini hujui kuimba. Hujui kuswim, mimi najua kuimba. You know, hata bele nikiwa shule, I wasn't that smart, tuseme hivyo, form 1 form 2. Ati nilikuwa nakula grades zingine baya mpaka academic tema manengelele naniuliza actually ni sawa tu,
but she still stuck with you.
She was like, imagine fanya hivi, sinaona unapenda chem, because in chemistry it was always A's, B, hivyo. I was on top of my game. Lakini Kiswahili I used to say nilikuwa nauliza naambia mama mimi ni mjaka, Kiswahili imekataa. So she has to come to school and she's like, imagine fanya tu hivi, si must tupate A Kiswahili, soma tu kadogo tu, soma ngeli, nomino, alafu uachie tu hapo, hii itakupatia tu marks. And you can't be blessed everywhere, you know. So every time someone tells you, like, maybe your eyelashes are bad, your eyes are bad, God always gives you something just for you, something special for you, you know. Like for me, I tell people it's my voice, you know. I say my voice is powerful. Even in school, we have this motto. What was this thing? We have come so far, we must get it done. Even during events in school, the teacher will say, "Where is event Nyawire for yellow? Simama tuambie motto." All the guests would know me because of my voice, you know. And I believe it will take me places, you know.
Absolutely.
That is what is special about me. So you figure out what is special about you, and you thank God for it. And for the teenagers, if you find it hard to express yourself using words, there are various platforms on social media that you can use. You can use TikTok. You just dance out and write the words there. It helps. Like my friend Lydia, she has started a blog. She talks about what she thinks is wrong with the world, you know? That's really powerful. Asante sana for that. Shazman, just before we close the show, man, just nuggets of wisdom to our parents, of course, even our teenagers.
Well, this is what I would tell teenagers. You know, I have a son. I'm sitting with such a beautiful, empowered woman. I would tell anybody that you might not know everything, you might not know where you're going in life, you might not have the answers to everything. That's part of your journey. It's always discovering who you are, but stay true to who you are in a world, you know, that can sort of like engulf you with social media and so many different things. Make sure whatever it is you get into, it's your passion, you're alive, it's a message comes out of you. You almost feel like you're serving whatever it is that you do. And I would tell you that anybody that's bullying you, when you walk past a bully, walk past them with a little softness, because inside, somebody inside is broken, is asking for help, and they just don't know another way to be able to portray themselves. And to parents, I would say, take the time to invest in your children, not to become what you want them to become, but to encourage them to grow and blossom into who they should become. Give them room to play, to challenge, to make mistakes. Teach young people from a young age, failure is an experience. It only teaches you what didn't work and will teach you what can work. Teach young students, young, you know, your young children that anything they want to do is possible, and it begins with you. And I always tell parents, you put your children in front of a mirror and you tell your child, when you look in the mirror, that's the only competition you need to have for the rest of your life. Blur out noise, because you are powerful and loud enough. And once you realize it, you're gonna shine.
Oh my God, really profound. Thank you. You beautiful women, very strong women, for gracing this set to just basically talk about a very powerful topic that is bullying. And thank you so much for your confidence. I knew you were scared when you started, but you're fine. You are enough. I will talk to parents. Parents, everything starts from conversation. If you don't talk to your kids, you will not know if they are okay. And if you're a bully man, let me tell you, if you have to hurt someone to feel powerful, you are the weakest individual on this pyramid. That is all that we have for you today. So from us to you guys, it's love, and thank you so much. Please subscribe, please. Let's get to 100,000. Please, please guys, please subscribe. And if you have any product that resonates with what we do, also comment down below. If you have a topic that you feel should be a priority that we could talk about, kindly also andika pale chini. What is that? Andika pale chini, and we will definitely get back. Thank you so much, Kaka Empire Set, for this beautiful set. And until next Monday, it's goodbye and love.